clinically certified hypnotherapist, NLP coach, and sound bath facilitator. And this nugget right here is Basil. It is super, super windy. So if you see those windows, they're inside windows, but they go to like a weird porch, indoor porch that we have. So they'll kind of blow. And then the house is old, so all the windows like grrr, when there's a big wind going on. Okay, so I wanted to hop on and talk a little bit about an article that I found in The Guardian. Well, it was sent to me. That's in The Guardian, titled, "I am a doctor and having hypnotherapy for IBS has changed my belief about pain." So the article does a really good job of basically laying out
A few moments later.
Okay, we're back now. That was, all right, well, that was interesting. So yeah, some of the windows just blew open as if the breath of God had come down from the heavens. We're just gonna go over this article together now. Monty Lyman is the doctor, and I guess I don't know if they're the author of this or the writer of this piece, but it kind of looks like it. So, okay. "I am a doctor and having hypnotherapy for IBS has changed my belief about pain. Science is revealing that pain is a protector, not a detector. Understanding this is the first step towards managing it." Monty Lyman is a doctor and the author of The Painful Truth. "Close your eyes and breathe normally," the therapist said. Here I was, a doctor trained in the Western school of rational inquiry, empirical evidence, and, dare I say it, snobbish cynicism, being hypnotized. But I'd lived with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, for as long as I could remember, with abdominal cramps being a regular discomfort and occasional agony. Medications and dietary changes had done absolutely nothing. I was aware of the growing evidence for hypnotherapy's effectiveness for various painful conditions, but when I sat down on the hypnotherapist's couch and closed my eyes for the first time, I felt more like a prayer of desperation than a reasoned treatment decision. It gets me emotional. Through words of suggestion, my hypnotherapist gently guided my attention across my body for about 10 minutes. I felt as though I was selectively shining a torch on sensations I never pay any attention to, the heaviness of my feet, the sound of my breathing. He then pulled my attention down to my sore, cramping abdomen. He then pulled my attention down to my sore, cramping abdomen and used imagery to change the way I saw my pain. "Picture your intestines as though they are a river," he said. "Now, it might seem like a fast stream of rocky rapids, but instead imagine it as the gentle Thames, and languidly moving punts gently drifting downstream." Over the following weeks, I could still feel painful sensations during flare-ups, but the pleasant imagery I was now associating with IBS was beginning to change my experience of it. It was as though I could take a step back and look at my own pain as an observer. My hypnotherapist treats many clients for phobias, and I wondered whether a similar process was at work with my pain. I used to visualize it like a threatening looking spider. But now, instead of fleeing into another room or trying to thwack it with a newspaper, I could gently pick it up and rehome it in the garden. After a few weeks of practicing self-hypnosis, the pain began to wane, and after a couple of months, it completely stopped. To this day, no IBS symptoms have returned. This experience began to rock the foundation of my belief that pain is an accurate measure of injury. On the surface, this seems to make sense, but if we look more closely, it's clear that the relationship between pain and injury is not at all linear. Severe tissue damage can occur without pain. We have all heard stories of soldiers in the heat of battle completely anesthetized to their missing limb. Pain can also occur without an injury. Basil! Even without any tissue, as is seen in the surprisingly common phenomenon of the phantom limb pain in amputees. And all of us have some sense that the same injury is more painful when your mood is low or if the harm is caused by another person in a threatening situation. Hold on one sec. Basil probably has tummy pain. Imagine he's hungry, it's about lunchtime. Let's try that again. If pain were a reflex, a simple signaling system from the body to the brain, then we should always and only feel pain when our tissue is damaged, with the pain directly proportional to the extent of injury. Pain only begins to make sense when you understand a fundamental, revolutionary truth that modern pain science is revealing. Pain is a protector, not a detector. Pain is an executive decision made by our brain outside our conscious control to tell our conscious mind that we are in danger and to motivate us to protect our body. Where another more important survival priority trumps this, take the soldier on the battlefield fighting for their life, the brain might decide not to create pain at all or to delay it to another time. In most cases of short-term or acute pain, hurt is usually an accurate indicator of harm. You shut your laptop on your thumb and it hurts. You slam it in a car door and it hurts more. But the link between hurt and harm begins to wane the longer pain persists. At least a fifth of most populations today live with persistent, also called chronic, pain. Persistent pain ruins millions of lives, but it was only recognized as a disease in its own right in 2019 and is often glossed over in medical schools. In many cases of persistent pain, the initial injury has long since healed. Through a mechanism called central sensitization, the brain has become overprotective and pain becomes wired in. Now, I'm not at all for 1 minute saying that persistent pain is all in your head, an issue of incorrect thoughts. Rather, it is neurological and as real as epilepsy. But how could this help us all deal with pain? It comes down to a simple formula. To rewire your brain out of long-term pain, you need to persistently provide it with evidence of safety and reduced evidence of threat. It's a matter of gradually calming down an overprotective brain, letting it know that the body is safe. To my surprise, I found hypnotherapy a useful vehicle for this, but there are many other evidence-based ways to make the brain feel safer in its body. One example is movement, from exercise to knitting, that provides your brain with data that the body is strong and safe. A new technology could also help us find our way out of pain. A virtual reality VR interactive snowscape helps burn. Oh, I love this. We do this in hypnotherapy as well. This has been one of the most effective things that I've done, not with burns necessarily, but this is something that I've done with people who have chronic pain. Okay, let's back it up. And new technology could also help us find our way out of pain. A virtual reality interactive snowscape helps burns sufferers manage their notoriously painful wound care. A team in France has combined one of the world's oldest therapies, hypnosis, with one of our newest technologies, VR, to give children recovering from surgery the opportunity to experience hypnotherapy in a relaxing VR environment of their choice. From a tropical beach to a mountaintop. Children giving a 20-minute Hypno VR session within 72 hours of surgery required half the amount of post-operative morphine compared to those who receive standard care. It will be fascinating to see whether VR can also help the brain rewire itself out of persistent pain. Still, most people, including doctors, have an outdated idea of what pain is and why it exists, although public outreach is slowly changing that. Understanding how pain really works is the first step to truly managing it. I get emotional when I read, hear, see stuff like this because it's just people getting help. People being seen for their experience, whether it's physically painful or it's neurologically wired or it's belief systems or it's relationships or it's money. Like, people are being acknowledged and like, it's not your fault, you're not crazy. There are other alternatives that maybe haven't always been mainstream, but there are other alternatives that can help you, and it just makes my heart so happy when I see people being more comfortable and people healing and having a better experience of life. It makes me really happy, so I get kind of emotional. So If you have any questions about pain, chronic or acute pain, or curious about hypnotherapy when it comes to pain, helped people who suffer with IBS symptoms. My goodness. I had avascular necrosis in my left hip, and I could barely walk more than 2 feet for about 6 months. And once I started doing self-hypnosis on it, it's completely gone away. In MRI, they could see that there was no blood flow continuing to my hip, and thus the bone and the muscles were becoming, or I guess it was the bone was becoming necrotic. But I have no pain in it for the past 3 years. So that's my story with pain. Also helping people with the, what is it called? It's a technique where you spend time in hypnosis in a snowscape and providing that safe and comfortable for the client. And you put your hand very, very slowly into the snow, and you can actually feel the client's temperature change on their hand, so the hand becomes cold. And then you touch that hand to wherever the pain is, and you create an anchor there so that once this session is over, the client goes home, and if they're having pain, they can touch their hand there, and it does help the brain start to rewire that this is comfort and it is relief, and you begin to start healing. And a lot of studies have been done about pre and post-op hypnotherapy and hypnosis, and that people who had hypnosis before going into surgery, had consistent hypnosis before going into surgery, had a much faster recovery time, and especially if they continued their hypnotherapy afterwards or even self-hypnosis afterwards, it just really speeds up recovery time. So there's a lot that we're really finding, and now having the ability to create these studies and keep track of them on how effective hypnotherapy can be healing the physical body. So it's not just about changing your mindset. This is not to say like modern medicine or Western medicine or anything like that needs to take a back seat. No, these things work together. They work in conjunction with each other, and then they're all much more effective. So I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and please, if this was helpful, it makes my heart so happy to know if this is helpful. So if you could leave a comment, like, subscribe, go visit my website. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me either on my website, on here, or Instagram, and take care of yourself.